So when we think about the how, for example, how a product is developed, is first you have the ideation phase, and then you have the wireframing drawn by the product manager, and then you will have the UI design, and then is when you will have the coding, and then you have the user testing. It actually this is from beginning to end how a product is going to market, is how a product is shipped. But the AI starts to replacing this from the reverse of that. So first of all, the testing, if done by AI, that is where it's already like linting, finding issues and finding bugs in code. That is absolutely already, let's say, AI is already very good at that. And the coding right now, we see huge advancements. So probably very soon, the coding would see a massive layoff. We're already seeing layoffs right now,
True.
but then it hasn't happened for designers yet. But guess what? The next step will be the designers. I think right now we see the huge advancements in the Gemini 3 3 Pro's ability to improve any generic design to dribble quality. And then, so yeah, you see, so this starts to go reverse. And then the next step will be drawing the user flow journey, the wireframing. That can be even the next step. So the AI has to think about the entire user journey. So then ideation is what you still have at that point, right? But then I think not too much longer, AI is able to ideate the entire idea for what's going to be a market fit product. So you don't need to go do market research yourself. The AI can already give you a report of, let's say, what is the most probable market fit product right now, right? According
Absolutely.
that. And so I think then it starts to go up, and then all the way on top of this decision tree will be the CEO himself, I think. But one day, if you look at the agentic workflow where AI is going to manage AIs itself as long as it has a task. So this draws to the conclusion where, because I said as long as it has a task, it's the same thing that you have said. The initiation of the task itself will never be replaced. Have to have some people, even if you tell it to build me a most profitable business, just this sentence itself has to be initiated by a person. Cannot AI itself doesn't have any initiative. It doesn't have any internal craving for changing the world for the better or worse. It doesn't do that. It has to be initiated every single time from a human. And so that is, I definitely agree with you. So having the initial spark of this thing that I want to achieve, that has to come from a human. It will be never replaced by an AI. I don't think, because from the technical point of view, the large language model itself is tending to be energy efficient. If it doesn't have to run a certain task, it doesn't run that. Because if you look at the business model, that's also how they save money in these large computing farms. They don't want to do endless like computations just to burn money and resource, right? So yeah, that's what I think, that we have to climb up on the ladder each step along the way to go higher and higher up in the decision tree in order to avoid being, let's say, swallowed by AI rapid advancements. A lot of people are thinking about this universal income, which is, I to my perspective, this is definitely a utopia idea. This has never happened in any country in the human history. Like, look at these countries with huge resources that they sit on. Most majority of poverty comes from the countries on earth that sits on the
Resources.
resource. Why is that? Is if you think that simply because you have resource output that doesn't run out, that they can give everybody an equal share, that is against humanity, because this monopoly, this people that actually sits on top of that resource, they want to have it all for themselves. There is no chance that they're willing to just haphazardly share any of that, because they don't even know you. Like, what are you to them? Why they want to share it with you? So I think that is, we need to drop that dream. That is not gonna come to intuition. One of the difference this time around is that look at all the past revolutions, right? We have the Industrial Revolution, we had the agricultural revolution, but each of those revolutions are targeted to a specific way of working. But this time is a bit different because these AI companies are targeting general workforces. They want to replace not only one style of working, they want to replace you. That's the difference right now. Yeah, so the as long as you are the working class, you are targeted. This I had to know. So this time the adaptation is gonna be different. I would definitely say that. But I see a key insight. Even if this, let's say, trajectory is inevitable, I definitely see right now that the AI is lacking in somewhere that is fundamentally stopping the AI from reaching that feature. Because one of the things, if you do the, let's say, vibe coding yourself, is that I've also mentioned that is that you very quickly end up in a pit of death because the things that the AI is generating, of course, it's generating it super fast. And that is also the reason why humans cannot keep up. It's also not very, let's say, efficient for you to read and comprehend what the AI is doing every step along the way. Why would you use it then? Then you probably would just do it yourself because checking somebody else's work is maybe even more time consuming than doing it yourself. So this is where I see that the AI has to still rely on human intervention and human approval right now because any large firm probably cannot just blindly click that accept button whenever the AI generated something. That is gonna at some point it's a time bomb. Yeah, a few iterations down the road, you probably don't see any problem, but trust me, it has planted the time bomb very deep somewhere hidden, and it's going to bring you to either a death of plateau or a valley of death. The key enabler that we can actually let AI go further past that, which I am right now thinking of, is, and this is I think where the money is gonna pour in very soon, is the ability to visualize what the AI has done very efficiently and visually, not by analyzing the text word by word, but by seeing a graphical interface, a node interface. Okay, so this happens and then that happens and then this and that. So what are you doing? You got to be able to show me, and then as a human, I should also be able to select some of these nodes and say, hey, this part of the logic needs to be tweaked in this and that way. So instead of blindly exchanging words, you then are working in the same exact, let's say, graph, or it's kind of like mind nodes, and then so that you have this interoperability between what you are thinking and what the AI is doing, so you don't lose sight of where the AI is going, what it has done. And so this will actually enable the AI to learn much further from the human. Of course, these AI companies are all times collecting our human input data, and so it's gonna learn to avoid itself these pitfalls that we human point out every single time for this AI. And that is at a point, once these fundamental, let's say, infrastructure are in place, that is where the doom is going to start to happen. And then there will be, we, if that happens, we will see that we are arriving at a point of no return because the AI then can learn from humans everything that it needs to learn from humans. Then humans are, why are we still needed? Then it can learn from itself. It can prompt it, so then it's gonna be very scary. But before we right now is able to intuitively and graphically understand what the AI is actually doing there, is creating a black box, is creating a time bomb. So that is where I see that probably a lot of the firms are gonna realize sooner or later that, hey, we need to visualize the code that AI is writing, just as I am visualizing what is happening actually in your variables. So then humans are visual creatures where our millions of years of evolution shaped us in a way that reading words is really not our expertise, not our strong suit, but reading the graph, the colors and shapes, that's really our, in our brain, I learned that we compute that million times faster than computing semantic words. And so I think that let's use the human brain's advantage compound with the large language model's advantage to achieve what we want to achieve right now. And do the best advice is to simply, this is probably the last train for us to get reached very fast before the the road of no return. And there's not gonna be, let's say, even a universal income, then we're just gonna end up in poverty. But I think that if people arriving at that point with already plenty of cash stored in the investment or in the bank, I think they're gonna be fine, because then you can invest in different firms that are leveraging these large language models to earn them money. And by investing, you also gain a share back. I think investment itself is gonna sustain even when the AI has taken over everything. But if you don't have the initial amount of money to invest, that's gonna be really scary.
Now and next.